She cried all morning before the wedding. Not because she was nervous. Not because brides cry. But because somewhere between pinning her hair and pulling on her gloves, a thought had arrived that she could not push back out. She did not know this man. Not his past. Not his people. Not why, out of every woman in this county, he had chosen her. And in 3 hours, she would be on a mountain road in the dark with him, and no one would know exactly where she was. She walked into that church anyway. Because her father's mill had burned in September. Because the debts had come in October. Because a quiet stranger had appeared in November with an offer so plainly stated it had taken her 3 readings to believe anyone meant it. And because by the time she understood the shape of her situation clearly, the only road out of it had one man standing at the end of it. Everett Crane, who stood now at the front of the church in a jacket that had seen better years, with mud on his boots and the patience of a man who had already decided how this morning would end. She had met him 4 times. 4 times in 3 weeks. Each time polite, direct, and entirely unreadable. He answered questions the way a man answers when he has decided in advance exactly how much he is willing to give away. He looked at you steadily, which should have been reassuring. It was not reassuring. She walked down the aisle with swollen eyes and a straight back and told herself she had made her peace with this. She had not. She had simply run out of time. The church was full, because Tallow Creek was always full when something worth repeating was happening. Margaret Hollis stood near the back and catalogued everything with the efficiency of a woman who considers gossip a civic duty. The boots. The jacket. The way he did not smile. What Margaret did not notice, what no one in that room noticed, was the way Everett Crane watched Clara come down the aisle. Not with the nerves of a man meeting his future. With the quiet recognition of a man seeing something he had been waiting for. Something he had arranged to see. The ring went on steady. His hands were calm when hers were not. That was the first thing that felt wrong. They left before the cake was cut. He loaded her cases, helped her onto the wagon, and clicked the horses north before Margaret had finished forming her first opinion. Clara kept her eyes on the road ahead and told herself that was not because she was afraid to watch the town disappear. The road was flat for the first mile. Then it climbed, and the pines closed in, and Tallow Creek was swallowed whole. That was the second thing. No one knew exactly where she was going. She had told her father, north of the ridge, past the mill road. He had nodded as though that meant something. It meant nothing. It was a direction, not a location. If something happened to her out here, no one would even know where to start looking. She asked about the land. Timber mostly. Some pasture. She asked about neighbors. Not close ones. She asked how long he had lived on the mountain. He did not answer immediately. He watched the trail first, in the way a man watches something when he is deciding how much truth the other person can handle. Then he said, without looking at her, "Long enough." She turned back to the trees. The pines were enormous up here, old and close, and the road between them had the feeling of a tunnel with no visible end. The only sounds were the horses, the wheels, and the wind very high above. No other wagons. No voices. No sign of any living person within any distance she could reasonably walk. If she changed her mind now, it was already too late. She pressed her hands together in her lap and kept her breathing even. That should have been the moment she understood something was wrong. Not dangerous, perhaps. Not yet. But wrong in the way that certain silences are wrong. In 4 meetings, he had never once described what waited at the end of this road. Most men selling an arrangement tell you something. Give you a picture to hold. He had given her nothing. She had not noticed that until now. An hour into a mountain she did not know, and she could not decide if that was his oversight or a decision he had made deliberately. The trail leveled near the top and widened into a corridor of pines so tall and straight they looked planted, like something designed to direct you forward and make you forget to wonder what was on either side. And at the end of that corridor there was a gate, iron, set into stone posts cut and fitted with a precision that stopped her thought entirely. This was not a working man's fence. This had been built by someone who understood permanence, who had resources and intention and a specific idea of what they were protecting. A man who arrived on foot to his own wedding did not build a gate like this. For one full second, Clara thought about asking him to stop the wagon. For one full second, she almost did. Everett stepped down without a word, unlatched the iron, swung it wide. returned to the wagon and guided the horses through as if this were any ordinary threshold. She watched the gate swing shut behind them. There was no handle on this side. She turned back to the path ahead and went very still. One of the upper windows was lit from within, and as the wagon rolled closer, the light shifted, briefly, the way light shifts when someone steps away from it. When someone who has been watching moves back into the dark. She looked at Everett. He was already looking at the house, his jaw set, his hands easy on the reins. He had seen it too, and had not reacted, and the fact that he had not reacted told her more than anything he had said in 4 meetings and 1 mountain road combined. Someone was already up there. What stood at the end of the road was not a homestead. It rose from the mountain clearing in stone and heavy timber, 3 full stories, wide-porched, with every window burning gold and 2 chimneys drawing thin lines of smoke into the night sky. Supper had been laid on a table set for 2. Fires burning in rooms she had not yet entered. Everything prepared with a precision that required not just planning but certainty. He had known she would come before she had been certain herself. She sat on the wagon seat and did not move. Everett came around to her side. He looked up at her with the expression of a man who had been waiting for this specific moment. Not just tonight. Longer than tonight. You have questions, he said. One first, she said. How long have you known about me? Something moved behind his eyes. He looked at the house when he answered. Your father's mill burned in September, he said. I came to your father in November. A pause. But I knew about your family before September. How long before? A year, he said. Perhaps more. She looked at him. I came from money, he said. Old money. The kind that teaches you how the world actually moves beneath what people believe they see. I left it deliberately. Built something real up here. But I did not leave without knowing how to use what I came from. A pause. And I used it to learn what kind of people your family were. You chose us, she said. I chose you, he said. Before your father knew I existed. She held that. The mill, she said carefully. The fire. Something shifted in his face then. Something sharper, briefly, than what had been there a moment before. It crossed his expression and was controlled back into stillness so quickly she might have doubted it. But she had not doubted it. Some things align at the right moment, he said. Then quieter, with a weight that had nothing accidental about it. And some things are made to align. It was not a confession. It was not a denial. It was the most precise non-answer she had ever heard, and it was delivered with the calm of a man who had decided long ago how much he would say and had never once reconsidered that decision. Who is in the house? She said. He looked at her. He answered immediately, which surprised her. Everything else had required a pause. This did not. Someone who helped me build it, he said. Someone who has been here from the beginning. And you didn't think to mention that. I'm mentioning it now. She looked at the window where the light had moved. She looked back at him. You anticipate everything, she said. Every question before I finish asking it. Every answer already prepared. She paused. What kind of man lives like that? He looked at her steadily. And for a moment, just one, something in his face did not hold as firmly as it had all day. Not guilt. Not quite. Something older and more complicated than guilt. A careful one, he said. Clara looked at the house. The lit windows. The fires already burning. A year of quiet preparation. A year of watching and waiting and removing, one by one, every other road she might have chosen, until only this one remained, and she had walked to the end of it believing the choice was her own. She took his offered hand and stepped down from the wagon. Her feet found the ground. She did not release his hand. If something in my life brought me here, she said slowly, and it was not an accident. She did not finish the sentence. Then what does that make you? Everett Crane looked at her for a long moment. The mountain was dark and absolute around the clearing. The gate behind them was closed. It makes me, he said quietly, a man who did not leave anything to chance. He led her up the porch steps. The door opened. The warmth came out to meet her. And as it closed behind her, Clara understood something with the cold clarity of a woman who had finally asked the right question. He had not convinced her. He had not forced her. He had simply, quietly, with the patience of a man who understood exactly how the world moved, removed every other road she might have taken. She had walked to the end of the only one left, without ever realizing it had been built for her. And the most unsettling part, the part she would lie awake with for a long time after, was not what he had done or how carefully he had done it. It was that standing there, in the warmth of a house built from a year of quiet certainty, she could not yet decide if she wanted to leave. Some men choose a woman. The rarest ones arrange the choosing so carefully that by the time she arrives, she believes she came of her own free will. The gate closes the same way either time. If this one stayed with you, there are more where it came from. Tell us where it found you.